Tale of Two Siblings, Self-Destruction. By James P. Pearce. What else have we seen, what else have we known, but our own demise, time after time? What seeds we have sown, what else have we known, but our own entrapment of our minds? When we are entrapped by our own minds and our own passions, that is something that is always going to keep us ensnared cyclically. It keeps us ensnared in the same old tired habits, thoughts, words, actions, and deeds, and that is going to not only lead to our own self-destruction, but possibly see the destruction around us with others. The unfortunate circumstances that have to come about that are not only come from, well, the ones that around us and love us, it's just as prevalent in our leaders and just as prevalent in our leaders in any spectrum. And the problem with that is that that spectrum gets spread out. The more we see our lives out of order, the more we see our lives not in order, the more we hope for that entrapment to put our lives back into order. Now, being ensnared with that is just as basically once again, another theme is the wicked inheriting the earth. And the problem with that is that when you inherit the earth or inherit the world, and you're expecting worldly things and worldly gains from it, then you will never get out of that instrument, or that entrapment. And that would cause anybody to go well spiritually blind, or cause people to ignore it. Because, in essence, you can be spiritually blind, but that's a choice. So in essence, the choice is there, the choice that you make to be spiritually blind. The problem is that self-destruction is not always due to spiritual blindness. It's more so due to a conscious choice, because as Orthodox Christians we believe in free will and totally it is inherent upon us to keep with the virtues. Free will doesn't necessarily mean that we do things that are willing or not pleasing to God. And the problem with self-destruction and these two siblings is that they didn't see eye to eye with this. And this is what caused these transgressions. And this is what caused these passions to transpire. And this is also what has caused these passions to arise. Now, with this arising of these passions, and this arising of these thoughts, words, and deeds that are very ham-fisted to the point that the sister forgot what the brother wanted to say, or was trying to help. Well, with that being said, the passionate response is always the most expedient response to this senior. And that expedient response leads to more of that instrument. Now, what is old, what is new? What is new, what is old? Once again, ashes to ashes, dust to dust, we all fall down. The weird part about this is that posies happen to be a poisonous flower. Poisonous to the extent where there have been poisons extracted from it and used for malicious intent. Now, you can say there was always that beautiful rose, but every rose has its thorn. The problem is that the brother, being the big brother, has been protective. And has wanted to see his sister pick the right path, pick the right suitor and pick the right kind of path away from being self-destructive. The problem is that the sister never appreciated that, and the other problem is the sister wants to appreciate it. She just doesn't know how to do it in a healthy manner. Now, this of course goes back to our leaders in their behavior, right? There are leaders who are going to stand by the truth and going to stand by and see the people of their country self-destruct. and rightfully so, under things like the Covidian tyranny, under things like, well, how they can control, and that overt control is something that has been a common theme. Now, is that to be completely masculine or feminine and there in their respects? No. Is there a dynamic to it? Yes. But there's also that male and female dynamic with obviously, being siblings. But that sibling rivalry manifested, different and difference of opinion is more ingrained when someone like the sister is steeped in cultural genoticism. It is not as prominent or as forefront with the brother because he sees over what could be classified as the system is embracing the world. Now that embracement of the world is just like the psalmist said, he embraces the world, inherits the earth. And that earth is more worldliness, with more worldliness leads to that self-destruction because, in denial of God, you're denying your own very nature. Now, to lead to that self-destruction, to denying that divine nature, that divine calling, anything to try to replace it is going to be an exercise in futility. And, with that being said, at least the utilitarian realizes that there is a utility to believing in God. Back to the brother and the sister setting up the allegory for the leader's failing, the value in the relationship that causes those to fail, as pointed out in the other modes of self-destruction. If it causes one to sin, by choice, then it is not a good path to continue with those vices.